Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're about to do a very interesting video. This is a Revert story, American Soldier. I'm pretty excited to actually hear it. Never listened to anyone's story of like reverting or converting. So this is gonna be the first time. And I'm really excited to kind of hear his reasons for that. Oh, I can hear it. So when I move the chair, it's like scratching on the back of the wall. So I was like, what the hell is that sound? Anyways, let's check it out. Hey you guys, before we start this video, this is a quick ad to let you know how to support the channel. If you check in the description bar down below, there's a link to my Patreon where you become a Patreon and you can see all the perks that we have on Patreon. You can check us out on PayPal. When you donate for PayPal, you can leave a text or a link to whatever video you want, and that video is done immediately. And also, I just got accepted into getting the YouTube join button. So if you want to join us on YouTube as well, you can definitely do that. By doing these type of things, you actually help support the channel and keep the channel alive, and also help us from the enemy, which is copyright, especially in the type of videos that we do. Copyright is something that we get bombarded by a lot, so doing these type of things definitely does help. And also just subscribing as well is a big plus. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get back into the video.
I grew up in a black household, we used to go to church every Sunday, Southern Missionary Baptist Church, the church where, they got a hoot and holler for God and singing kinds of songs and people speaking in tongues. It was always a good time at church. We'd be there all day on a Sunday, but it was a good time. One summer, my mom put me on, she locked me down the whole summer. I couldn't leave the house. I was on punishment, And in doing that, stuck in the house, I didn't have much to do. So what I would do was I would watch all her old video cassettes. This is back when they had the VHS, the VCR player, you had to press rewind, all that old stuff. Anyways, I came across this movie, it's called Malcolm X. And I heard about Malcolm X, but in school, in public school especially, they don't teach you a lot about Malcolm. You hear a lot about Martin Luther King, all these other people, the more pacifist, activists and things like this. But I never really learned much about Malcolm X.
I personally don't know much about any civil rights activists in America because I'm not American. And I find that that's something that a lot of black people kind of shame me on. They expect me to know all the civil rights movements and things that went on in America. And I'm like, I'm from the Caribbean. I don't know, I don't know nothing about black history when it pertains to America. So every time somebody quotes me on those type of stuff and I don't know anything, they kind of watch me like I'm uneducated. Bruh, I'm not from America. I don't know anything that went on in America. From the Caribbean. Ask me something about the Caribbean, and to be honest, I don't think there's any black movement or any type of thing that compares to what America went through in the Caribbean. Even thinking right now, never studied any of these things in school. Not even Malcolm X. We didn't even study this. I didn't know about Malcolm X until I saw an episode of The Parkers when they had a episode dedicated to him. That's my whole history of Malcolm X. I never researched about him because it's just a mentality that it happened in America. It could happen to me, but now I'm learning more and more about black history because I'm in a country where there's racism.
So I remember looking at this video because I'm like, man, this is a lot of videos. It's 2 videos. It's a long movie. So anyways, I pop it in or whatever, and I watched it all the way through. I think it's about 2.5 hours maybe all the way through. And I remember at the end of that video, I was a little bit left in shock, because the whole concept behind Malcolm is that Malcolm, he was never really a Christian, but, he did all of his work in the name of Allah, you know what I mean? And he did his work in the name of helping people, benefiting them. And at the end of the day, he was Muslim, But the problem was that, for me, was that as a Christian, I had learned that if you didn't accept Jesus into your life as your Lord and personal Savior, you was going to hell. Well, I looked at Malcolm and I said, well, Malcolm believed in God. He believed in all these different, he believed in God. But he's going to go to hell because he didn't believe in Jesus the way I believe in Jesus. And to me at the time, that didn't make sense. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go to college. I knew I didn't want to go to college, but I knew I had to do something. I knew how to get out of here. I knew how to get out the city. So I ended up joining the Army. I joined the Army in 2008. Yeah, about 2 weeks after I graduated, I was in the Army. 2 weeks after I graduated from high school, I was in the Army. And the military was a very interesting experience because in the military, you're not paid to think for yourself. They do all the thinking for you. They tell you when and where to go. They tell you to do this. They tell you to do that. Everything is already planned out for you. One day, I'm guarding this gate. I'm armed up with my weapon, guarding this gate. And this truck approaches. And the truck...
Before anything, we gotta thank him for his service and protecting those who can't protect themselves. Thank you for your service. Commendable. I personally, I have a lot of friends in the army. My brother's in the army, so and the army is quite scary, to be honest. You have to thank them for their service because they're putting their life on the line to protect you. To be honest, I only get the army because mostly countries go to war because men are just so much up in there that they can't agree on something.
Approaches and it gets closer to the gate, and I'm telling the truck to stop. I'm saying stop, 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 telling the truck to stop. The truck stops, the driver gets out, and he starts walking towards the gate. Well, I tell him, I say, you have to stop. I'm yelling at him, stop, 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 stop. And the whole time he's coming at me, he has this smile on his face. So I'm thinking in my head, this man is crazy. This man is loony. He's out of his mind. I don't know what's wrong with him. Anyways, he continues to come closer and closer and closer. And by this time, I've pointed my weapon at him. I'm telling him I'm going to shoot and all this stuff. But something was telling me not to shoot. Something was telling me not to pull the trigger. So I didn't. And what happens is that he approaches me, and from his underarm, he produces his paperwork telling him that it was okay for him to get in the gate. Well, in the conversation I'm having with him, I'm telling him, you can't come into the gate. You're not welcome in the gate. And I'm like, didn't you see me pointing this weapon at you? Don't you know I could have shot you? And the man looks at me, and he's speaking broken English. His English is very broken. He looks at me with a smile on his face, and he points his finger to the sky like this, and he says, I only fear Allah. And in my head, I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got problems, you know what I mean? You out here defying guns and stuff. No, you're tripping out, whatever, right? So what happens is that I come back out to California about October of 2011, and then I took my Shahada at Farouk because I knew a guy that actually was going there at the time that I had met through some other friends that was going there at the time, and he invited me to come through and take my Shahada. And one thing that I would say to everybody that's watching this, or to anybody that's interested in Islam, is do not hesitate to go out and do the research and visit a masjid. You know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, it may be a little.
That's what I'm doing now, and I'm learning about it. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
A little strange at first.
He is right. It is quite strange at first because it's a complete contradiction to what you were raised in. So it sometimes it's really hard for me too because it is contradicting to what I was raised in. I mean, think of it, 24 years of that, and just you can't just change it like that. It's gonna take time, and that's why I'm learning about it. I'm learning about all the different. After my grandmother passed away, it just made me question a lot of things. So yeah, I agree with him on this one. It is gonna feel strange.
Obviously, it's gonna be strange. You're doing something new. You're looking into something that that might potentially change your life, and it's a bit overwhelming at first. And sometimes the thing is that sometimes when we discover the truth, we try to run away from it because we don't want to believe it. But the problem is that the truth, you can't run away from the truth forever. It's always going to be in the back of your mind. And sometimes when people discover Islam, they look at it and they say, no, this can't be true. They think they know it's true, but they back away from it because they're scared of the truth, And in that sense.
And that also has to do with the media and how they portray them as well.
You have to understand is that, yes, the truth is a little bit scary sometimes, but it's still the truth, And in doing that, don't be afraid to go and visit a masjid. Don't be afraid to talk to the Muslims that are around you. Do not believe what the media is telling you. That's rule number one.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I'm starting to learn.
Don't believe what the media is telling you. Don't let anybody tell you that ISIS, the Taliban, represents Islam. Because if that's the case, then the KKK represents Christianity. And everybody.
That's actually true. That's true because the KKK is extremely. They're all Christian. That's a good one. That's one that a lot of people should remember and to use.
Everybody knows that's not true. So don't let anybody tell you what Islam is until you go out and you do it for yourself. Research it for yourself.
That was incredible. I like this video. I really did. That was really good. Quite really thought out. I and thoroughly enjoyed it. I love this story. I know they had to kind of cut it short because there's a lot of things that I think he probably didn't say that he wanted to say, but they had to cut it off a little bit. I'm not sure because I would love to know what the process went through his mind and a lot of things that I would want to know that he didn't really say in the video, but I guess it would just go on for too long. I really like the video. It's very inspirational. If you guys did, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check us out on Patreon, PayPal, or join us on YouTube. And you can also follow me on Twitter and we can have conversations there if you want. I love this video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.